Hi there, it's Jen, and it is Friday, September 19th. Welcome. If you're joining me for the first time, I go live every Friday here on Facebook and YouTube and do a Stampin' Up card from start to finish. So what I like to do first is I like to do a draw for the card that I made the week before. So let me just show you what that was. So let's just bring this up larger. So this is the card that I made last week, and it's using the snowflake masks, so pretty. And then I showed you some other versions. I am also using an ephemera pack for the greetings. So here's some other versions. And then I wanted to show you two more that I did with those masks. So here's one with just a single snowflake there. And I did some white in behind in the background. And then I also did this one where it's on a circle, and I also did some white. You can see sort of the shading there is white in behind, and then that secret sea and bordering blue on there as well. So just want to share how much fun I'm having with those snowflake masks. Okay, so I'm going to do a draw. So let me just bring up that screen. And hello to Nicole. How are you today, Nicole? So I'm just bringing up this screen here, and if you commented or liked or shared, you're automatically in my draw for that. So here we go. As long as you're Canadian and not a demonstrator, then you can win this card. And I realize I'm missing a post-it note. Hello, Renee. Hold on, let me just grab a post-it note. That's a very big post-it note. There's always something I forget, right? I think I'm already ahead of time. So Renee, as long as you are Canadian and not a demonstrator, you will have won this card. And she says, your card is beautiful, Jen. Well, thank you so much, Renee, and thanks for watching too. And if Renee doesn't meet those qualifications, then I'll just do another draw, okay? I'll do that next week. So let's just stop sharing here and jump back. Hello, hello. And let me just pop right to this screen here. And I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. And I just want to administratively say, if you don't have this catalog and you're Canadian and you don't have a demonstrator, please let me know. I'd love to send that to you. In addition, there is this printout that includes the online exclusive. And what I'm going to show today is part of these online exclusives. So these are sort of additional products in addition to that mini catalog. They may sell out a little faster. Personally, I like a lot of the stuff in this online exclusives, almost more than this. So be sure and check that out. You know what? I think I'll just share my screen because I have it up here just to show you. Here we go. This is my website, stampwithjenn.com. And if you go to catalogs, see all catalogs, then you'll be able to see, there's the mini catalog. You can see the online version of it. It tells you the dates, the annual catalog, and then online exclusives. So here's the one that I'm showing right now. And then, of course, there's all these other ones. So some of these products are, in fact, sold out the further back you go, but some of them aren't. So you can definitely have a look. The best way to look for any of this stuff is just to go to my online store. That's the best way to do it. Okay, so that's all for the admin stuff. Let's get to the fun stuff. So we'll just pop this here. Hello to Vila. How are you, Vila? Okay, so I am going to use, got these in order here, Winter Scenes. This is the one that's from that online exclusive. It's a very cute stamp set. It's just 4 stamps in it. And there are 4 winter scenes. So I'm just going to hold them up for you. So they're not necessarily Christmas, but they certainly could be. And I'm also going to use this one, which is Joyful Tidings. I did this a couple weeks ago, and this is actually the class that I have going on right now, too. I should pull that up. I will in a second. So I'm going to use just a greeting from here because there's no greetings in this stamp set, as you can see. The other thing I wanted to show you is I have here my cardstock. This is cloud cover, and I've cut it already in half. So that's an 8.5 by 11 that I cut right in half. And I don't know if you can see this. I'm hoping the camera will pick it up. Let's just see if I can get it in the right spot here. It may not focus, but it's all kind of ratty. See that? So this means that my blade, maybe if I lay it against a piece of white, you might be able to see it better. There, can you see sort of the rough bits on there? So first of all, I can fix that by just taking a sanding block and just sanding it. So that's what I do when I see that happening. But the other thing really is that the blade needs changing. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do that here so you can see it. I was going to do it before the live, but then I thought, I might as well just do it while I'm here. So the blades come in a little package like this, cutting blades. And there's two. There's the lighter one, which is a scoring blade. So like it does a lighter impression is how I remember it. And then this darker one, which is the cutting one. So I've been using this a lot. So it's just frayed now. So go to about the middle, and then it makes it a little bit more, well, you can pull the whole thing off if you want. It makes it a little more flexible to be able to pull that out. And the only reason I would save this is if I knew I was going to be cutting something like glimmer paper or something that might really rough up the blade more. But honestly, I would just probably get confused. So I'm throwing that right in the garbage. And like I said, it comes with 4. And if you're, I mean, I don't change the blade a lot and I use it a lot. So I'm quite sure that it will last you a long time unless you're making like 1,000 cards a day or something. So this just pops right back on. There's little tiny notches right there that just pop right in. You saw how easy it was for me to pop that blade in. I'll do it again just to show you. So in the middle here, just flex this, it pulls out, and then pops right back in again. Okay, so now that's going to be nice and sharp when I go to use it next time. Okay, continuing on. This is another thing I'm going to use here. This is called the Season of Elegance Designer Series paper. You have seen me use it before because A, I have a lot of it, but B, I love it. So again, it's not explicitly Christmas paper, but it's got some nice Christmas colors. So there's the red, cherry cobbler, a vanilla, an olive, and a beige, and a peacock. So this paper on one side is like this, very pretty. And on the other side, it has that gold. And that's the same for each of these pieces. So I'm actually going to use this sort of beige one here today. It's beige and gold, which I think is super pretty. So hello, Paulette. How are you today? So let me pull back in that piece of cloud cover that I shaved already. Or shaved. I don't think that's the right word. Sanded. That's what I want. You can go like this to get that edge there. Just a little bit better. Okay. And I've cut this hot dog. And that's for a reason, because I'm going to tie the ribbon around here, and I want to be sure that it goes around the card. So I'm just going to fold that in half, make my card base, and then I've gone ahead and I've cut a couple of these arch dies. This one here, and Vila, actually, it's good that you're here because I was thinking of you. I have another card that I'm working on based off of a card that you sent me. And you know, of course, it's tucked away here, so I can't find it, but I'll be able to show it when I do the card. But you had used the arch dies, and I loved your card, so I was thinking arch dies. So when I went to do this card, I was thinking arch dies. Okay, so I've already pre-cut them, and just to make this go a little faster, because I'm going to do some embossing. And I have here the Wow Metallics embossing, and I'm going to use gold embossing powder. And so I have here my little tray, and I have my, hopefully, embossing buddy. So it's always a good idea when you're embossing to rub a piece of paper with the embossing buddy just to take away any static. That helps from spreading all sorts of little grains all over. Not that you won't get some, but, and then I got my Versamark, I've got my tray, my powder. So I'm going to ink up my stamp, and I'm going to stamp it on this thing, this arch about there. Now this Versamark is a clear ink, so you really hard to see that. I can see it a little bit here, but it would be hard to see on camera. Then you're going to sprinkle powder over top and be quite generous, and then you're going to just tap it off. I often just do a little flick with my finger, and then I have a look, and I can see a little bit of powder there. So taking a little extra brush just to get some of that extra stuff off, and you can see that powder is kind of dull. So we're going to shine it up. So I'm going to grab my heat tool, and I'm going to turn it on for a few minutes and let it warm up, and then I'm going to emboss. Okay, and I've got my tweezers here to hold this so I don't burn my fingers. So while it's embossing, I won't be able to talk too much because it's quite loud. So here we go. Here's the heat tool. I'm going to put it on the full number 2 setting, letting it warm up for a minute. I just want to show this so far. So you can see that I was about 2 or 3 inches away. And you can see the top of that left tree is embossed, how it's golden shiny, and how the rest is not. So what you want is you want that look on the left. You want to get to that point and no further. Okay, so here we go. So there we go. That is done. I can see it's shiny all over. You don't want to go any further because if you do, you could actually burn that. So the other thing is after you've waited a couple seconds, just touch it to test it. And if there's no powder coming off, it's good to go. And then what's nice about this little tool is that you can take this and you can funnel it right back in and save that powder. You could also use something like a coffee filter, anything like that. Of course, I'll do a post with all of these things in here. I'm getting better about getting those posts up. For example, last week's post is already on my blog, so it shows you all the things I did with it and all that stuff. So, okay, so I have here, I hope, all the other pieces that I need. It doesn't look like I do. That piece. We want ribbon. Okay, well, apparently I'm cutting another piece. Oh, it looks like I might have just tucked it right back in there. We'll just cut this one. So it is at 4 by 3, that size of paper. So that's the 3. So I'm going to now do 4. And 4 by 3 is a really nice size to do 12 by 12 paper in there because you get a nice even number of pieces. So I'm going to attach this here to the card base. This is a pretty simple card to do. Oh, better make sure my card's opening the right way. Like that. Oh, and I forgot. I need to do this. So I'm going to take my cloud cover marker, my blends marker, and I'm just going to go on an outline around this. Now, blends markers and embossing don't work that well together. You actually dissolve some of the embossing if you get too close. So if you're going to use blends markers to color anything or to do what I'm doing, just go close to the edge, but not all the way. And then you won't have that problem. I just want to give a little bit of a highlight to this, also to make it match the card base more. So isn't that beautiful with the highlight on there? Embossing is just like magic. Well, it's funny that you should say that, Paulette. I agree too, and it is certainly the big wow of stamping, isn't it? But that's what I called my embossing class, was the magic of embossing, because it really is magic, isn't it? So I've got that there. So isn't that pretty so far? So I'm going to grab my ribbon, which is right here. This is gold ribbon. I used the same ribbon last week. It is called gold striped ribbon. It's very pretty. It's like an organza, but it's got the gold stripes on it. Really pretty. So I'm going to make this come out here and go around. So if I'd done the other version of the card, the hamburger, I wouldn't be able to put it inside like that. And I'm going to tie a knot here. Now, the other thing I want to say is this card design, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I did the exact same card design, and I bet you that no one will have even noticed that it's the same, but it is one of my favorite card designs, and it is, I'm just tying a knot here is all I'm doing, and then just trimming that off on an angle to make it really pretty. If I can, I'll grab that card. In fact, I don't know why I didn't. So I'm going to put this on here like that with dimensionals. But it's one of the cards designs that I use all the time. In fact, it's one of my things, my freebies that you get when you first sign up for my newsletter list, my top 5 card designs. And this design is in there. Now, I may have used a square or a circle or something else. Doesn't really matter the shape. But the idea that there's a piece of paper down here, and then that there's this element here, and finally that we're going to put a greeting right here. I'm going to make sure that's straight. Already that's beautiful just as it is if you didn't want to put a greeting on it. But we're going to, so I've cut a little piece here already. I've done all the die cutting because I've die cutted with you guys before. So I just thought today I will just focus on the embossing, not the die cutting. So this is Stylish Shapes, one of my favorite sets of dies to use. So it's got that little stitching on there, same as the stitching on the arches. So it's going to look coordinated together. And I've got the Noel out of that Joyful Tidings stamp set, this one here. I just love this little Noel. It's just a perfect little size. And I've got a little cloud cover ink spot. That's just because the cloud cover was one of those colors that they had issues with. And so they did turn on the code for a full ink pad, but there was no guarantee that the color was stable. It seemed to mutate with the foam pads. So what I did for my in color club, so there we go, perfect, was I gave them, instead of a little spot and an ink refill, and we made our own ink pads. So that's how we handled that. And then with these are foam, these are not foam, they're felt. So the color was good with that, doesn't change. Okay, so then I'm going to just take that and cut it off. And yes, I'm using a different pair of scissors because I keep one for ribbons and I have a little tag on it and one not. That just keeps those ribbon scissors nice and sharp. So I'm just going to add tape on here. This is double-sided tape. And Noel. So how pretty is that already? Bill says that DSP is gorgeous, isn't it? And it is, like I said, it's not necessarily Christmas, but it sure works for Christmas. Absolutely beautiful. And just the hint of that little blue, it's almost a gray blue pulling through, very neutral, this is an elegant card without being too hard to do. I'm also going to add one other thing because, you know, got to add more things. Here we go. I've got it already here. These are gold shaker stars, and it comes with an absolutely full container of stuff. So there's tons of them. I'm going to pull out some. So you could use these for shaker cards, but I'm going to use them right here. I'm going to take my fine tip glue pen, and I'm going to add 3 little dots of glue here. And I'm going to try and grab the more solid ones. I think I'll use my take-a-pick tool. My sample, I've got something else on there, and I'll show it to you in a second. I'll just rest that on there. Oh, there's a really small one. That's pretty. Let's see if I can get it on there. Sorry if my head's getting in the way here. It's like a little delicate operation to get these on here. Okay, and I want another big one. There's a big one. So I'm going to just take that and hold that down on there for a second. There's a little bit of glue seepage on that tiny one. That's okay. The glue dries mostly clear, and if it doesn't, you can use an eraser around that. Look how pretty that is. So I'm going to leave it right there. I like the ones that are open too. Look at those. That would be very pretty in a shaker card. If you don't know what a shaker card is, well, then that's something I'll have to do at some point. So this glue pen has a tip, fine tip, and then there's this thing. And so I find if I hold that steady, I don't know if the camera will be able to focus here, and then I can stick that right back in, and then that keeps that tip nice. So there we go. How pretty is that? Very pretty, Vila says. Thank you. So let me show you my other one. And I'm going to try and grab the other thing I said too. So this one is using a different set of little stars. They've got a bit of color to them. And then there's little dots in there too. So I'll leave them both there. Let's just see if I can grab the other thing really quickly. I know I looked at it earlier today. Oh, here it is right here. Yay. Okay, and yes, okay, good. So let me start with, this is the other pieces I used on here. These are called loose shaker elements. I'm going to spill them. Well, look how pretty these are. They have these big pieces. Here, I'll just shake some out so you can see. Oh, so I'm getting all the big pieces because I used a lot of the stars already. But they're iridescent and they're very pretty, and they've got the little stars in there. But then once I got the gold stars, I thought, oh, those are going to be better. Oh my God, stuff happening all over here. Okay, and then this was a card I did a few weeks ago. So you can see it is exactly the same design. I've used a square here instead, and I've used twine instead of ribbon, but the same concept of a little thing coming off to the right here. This one I've added a little gem there, but exactly the same design. So if you're new, you've never been with me before, make sure you go to my website. Here, I'll put a little banner up, stampwithjenn.com. and you can, let me see if I can make that work here, banner. And you can get my top 5 card designs, and then you can get that one of those designs of that. The other thing I just want to show you, and I'm going to see if I can pull it up quickly here. If you've got questions, let me know. What do you think? I mean, this you could do in any color. And oh, let me pull in that stamp set again too, so you can see. Or you could use any of those frames. That would be very pretty. Here we go. This is what I want to show you. So let me just jump here. Share the screen for a second. So I will copy this, but this is, like you said, Paulette, the magic of heat embossing. So I'm actually using this stamp set, Joyful Tidings, in this class. So I will stop the share there, and I will pop here. Hopefully I can jump to a comment. There we go. I'll put that in there because today is the last day to get a bonus card for this class, actually, if you sign up by today. So let's see here. Donna, hello. Donna says, pretty and shiny. And Laura says, such a pretty card. Thank you. It is really pretty, isn't it? And it's so simple. So it's amazing. Nicole says, beautiful cards. Phil says, very pretty. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. So what are you up to this weekend? Anything exciting? I am not. I am just doing some tidying up and some paperwork and stuff like that, and hopefully a little bit of time in my stamp room. So I'll be putting this card in a draw. So all you have to do is comment, like, or share before next week, and then you'll be automatically in the draw to get that beautiful card, which I'll mail directly to you, as long as you're Canadian, like I said before. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for joining me today. I tried to keep it short, even though I can talk a lot, and embossing always can take a little bit longer, but you saw how pretty fast it is. If I was doing this as a group, like doing a bunch of these cards, I would probably do all those things on like a sheet of white paper. I'd take one sheet of white paper and I'd stamp the image multiple times and emboss it all at once, and then die cut it, because that would make it just go really fast to do that. Anyways, thanks again for joining me. Have a great weekend, and I will see you all again next Friday. Thanks again. Bye-bye.